وبركاته. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم.
لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, dear believers. We praise Allah, we seek His help and His forgiveness. We seek refuge with Allah from the evil of our own souls and from our own bad deeds. Whomsoever Allah guides will never be led astray. Whomsoever Allah leads astray, no one can guide. I bear witness that there is no God but Allah. I bear witness that Muhammad is the slave servant and messenger of Allah. O you who believe, fear Allah as He should be feared, and die not accepting the state of Islam as Muslims with complete submissions to Allah. O mankind, be dutiful to your Lord, who created you from a single person, and from him He created his wife, and from them both He created many men and women. And fear Allah through whom you demand your mutual rights, and do not cut off relationships of the wombs, kinship ties. Surely Allah is ever all watchful over you. Allah speaks the truth. Only you believe, keep your duty to Allah and fear Allah, and speak always the truth. And brothers and sisters and brothers, I'd just like to share with us some of the stories of Ibrahim. We're just coming out of the season, Hajj season. And Hajj is a season that really represents the footprints and footsteps of Ibrahim, who all human beings, majority of human beings in the Western Hemisphere, those that come out of Christianity, Judaism, or Islam, or the monotheist faith, identify themselves as children of Ibrahim. Ibrahim is our father. And so I just wanted to share with some of the stories about Ibrahim. One of the background stories is you read about Ibrahim is family ties. It's crying or pleading to his father. Ibrahim traces his family of his father to Tahor. Tahor and his family, they had 3 children. The Bible tells you those stories and how he could trace it back to Shem, descendant out of the children, the son of Ham, Shem. When he traced back his family, his genealogical. So we see these different stories. We see also the story of Abraham being rational, using his rational mind. So hopefully in the next few minutes I just want to share some of the different ayats in the Quran that talks about the story of Abraham to remind us of samples within ourselves. And this first story is in Surah Baqarah, Surah 2, ayat 124. It comes with Ibrahim. And remember that Abraham was tried by his Lord for certain commandments, which he fulfilled. He said, I will make thee an imam to the nation. And Abraham pleaded, and also imams from my offspring. He answered, but my promise is not within the reach of evildoers. So Allah is saying, yeah, my promise is not in the evildoers, those who don't do evil. And we see that Allah kept his promise. We see that Abraham descended from Isaac, his son Isaac, was righteous and was a prophet. His son Ishmael was righteous and was a prophet. You see from the children of Isaac, you see Jacob, he was righteous and a prophet. You see from Jacob, you see Joseph, he was righteous and a prophet. So Allah's promise to Abraham was true. And then we are descendants of Abraham, and there's righteousness within us. And it goes on to say, remember, we made the house a place of assembly for men, and a place of safety, and take ye the station of Abraham, a place of prayer. And we covenant with Abraham and Ishmael that they should sanctify my house. for those who come past it ground or use it as a retreat or bow or prostrate themselves into the Lord. So after Abraham comes into rationalizing his faith, and through some time of process, he built a house for the Lord. And that the humanity comes to worship. And these are some of the steps that we have to do. And remember Abraham said, my Lord, make this city of peace and feed its people with its fruits, such of them as believe in Allah on the last day. He said, yea, and such as reject faith. For a while will I grant them their pleasure, but will soon drive them to the torment of the fire and evil destination indeed. And we've seen in our own lifetimes, the children of Abraham, those that was in that valley, those Arabs in Arabia, in Mecca, in that valley, they come rich. Allah has blessed them with oil, fruit from the land. And they come rich. And Mecca is protected, no matter what craziness they have done. Mecca is a city of peace within itself. That regardless of what goes around outside of it. Allah's words are true. We see it today. And remember, Abraham and Ishmael raised this foundation of the house with this prayer. Our Lord, accept this service from us. For thou art all hearing, the all knowing. Our Lord, make of us Muslim bound to thy will, of our prodigy, a people Muslim bound to thy will, and show us our place for celebration of due rights. And turn unto us in mercy, for thou art oft returning, most merciful. Barker's going to 129. Our Lord, send amongst them a messenger of their own, who shall rehearse thy signs to them and instruct them in scripture and wisdom and sanctify them. For thou art exalted in might and wise. In our lifetime, in our community, we've been blessed with at least 3 messengers I can think of. You had Martin Luther King, Elijah Muhammad. You had Imam Amir Muhammed. All these men were men to deliver messages that God has sent for the human family as signs. And let's call them angelic, and there was human beings. Allah said He will send us all messengers. And there's others that came and touched others, as Uddin, for other people, other community. And so we have to open up our mind, eyes, and understand Allah will send to others. Accept theirs and let them allow them to accept ours. And who turned away from the religion of Abraham? But such as debase their souls with folly, him we chose and rendered pure in this world, and he will be in the hereafter in the ranks of the righteous. Isn't there the hadith that talks about Ibrahim, may Allah be pleased with him, being one of the leaders of the companions in the 7 heavens? Then Prophet Muhammad ﷺ led them all. And Abraham is the leader of all the people of faith. He said, behold, he said to him, bow thy will to me. He said, I bow my will to the Lord and cherisher of the universe. What did Abraham represent? A human being reasoning and rational, searching out proper worship of God. He also represented that he was caught up into the idol worship and things that human beings can create for themselves. He was also caught up into the stars, Michael Jackson, temptations of their time. As you see people that are caught up into the stars of our time. There's other people that reflect God's light, which is called the moon. There's things, there's microcosm, macrocosm. Everything we see, all these stories, there's a natural story within the makeup of the human nature, human concept, principles are within us. And with this was the legacy that Abraham left to his sons, and so did Jacob. O my sons, Allah has chosen the faith for you. Then die not, except in the state of submission to Allah. Were you witness when death appeared before Jacob? Before he said to his sons, what you will worship after me? They said, we shall worship thy God and the God of thy fathers, of Abraham, Ishmael, Isaac, the one true God, to him we bow in Islam. That one comment will neutralize all these different people of faith. Under one tent, on one umbrella, where they say they is Father Abraham. We have to learn to communicate, speak their language, open up their heart. And they say, become Jews, Christians. If you be guided to salvation, say, nay, I rather the religion of Abraham, the true. He joined not gods with Allah. And the 10 Commandments, the first commandment, thou shalt not put up no graven image of me. I'm a jealous God, I'm one God. There's that foundation that's there that we can build upon, and within the 10 Commandments. And we said we believe in Allah and the revelation given to us and to Abraham, Ishmael, Isaac, Jacob, and the tribes, and that given to Moses and Jesus, and that given to the prophets from the Lord. And God speaks the truth. The next story we see about Ibrahim is in Bakra, ayat 256. It comes and says, this is right before, this is 2 ayats right before the story of Ibrahim. I thought it was very unique and set the time frame and structure. Said, let there be no compulsion in religion. Truth stands clear from error. Whoever rejects evil and believes in Allah have grasped the most trustworthy handhold that never breaks. Allah heareth and knoweth all things. Allah is the protector of those who have faith. From the depth of darkness, He will lead them forth into light. Of those who reject faith, their patrons are the evil ones. From light, they will lead them forth into the depth of darkness. They will be companions of the fire to dwell within forever. And this is some stories for us. We say we walk in the light. Some of our companions will walk us into the darkness. So we have to be careful of that. And here comes the story of Abraham, 258. Has thou not turned thy vision to one who disputed with Abraham and his Lord? Because Allah has granted him power. Abraham said, my Lord is He who giveth life and death. The man said, He said, I give life and death. Some of these people think they give life and death. And then Abraham said, but it is Allah that causes the sun to rise from the east. Can you cause it to rise from the west? He's giving them sound, rational mind, clear logic, no argumentative state. Then thus he was confused, who in arrogance rejected faith, nor did Allah give guidance. So he used clear, rational, plain logic to challenge them. And then come on and say, or take the similitude of one who passed a hamlet. And then the rooms, this is an example, but I'm coming to ayat 260. It says, behold, Abraham said, my Lord, show me how thou givest life to the dead. He said, doest thou not believe? He said, yeah, but to satisfy my own understanding. He said, take 4 birds. And this translation says, tame them, to turn to thee, and put a portion of them on every hill, and call to them, they will come to thee, flying with speed. Then know that Allah is exalted power, wise. Some translation says, kill them, cut them up. My soul, my being, my spirit, my rational mind says, tame them. And in my little life experience, I'm seeing this idea, the concept of these 4 birds in my own personal lives. Most recently, my granddaughter moved here, my daughter moved here, my niece moved here, and a lot of these people was cut off from me because I was a Muslim. But yet they want to move in this area because I'm a Muslim. This took 20, 30 years later, but I see that these birds are rising for the goodness that I showed them. And they want to come to that example. And I know we all have these different examples within us. These stories will validate for you. There's people that out here will say, kill them, cut off, man. Allah says tame, train. And you can rationally see, man, if you got an animal or a pet, you train them, man, you let them go. They'll come to you, and you want your children. There's certain things you can teach them, values. It will come back to them. There's certain things that your parents taught you that come back to you. Here's an example I can think of, man. I'm a Christian soldier, marching all day long, man. And here in the Quran, what they call that? They call it Hezbollah. He said the party of God, the soldiers of God, the party of God is called Hezbollah. But we were trained to be a Christian soldier. Another thing I remember my parents saying is that, look, this little heart of mine, I'm going to let it shine. I'm going to let this light shine. Let it shine. Let my goodness shine. Let my heart shine. Let our goodness shine. So there's values and principles that we can build upon, that we can reach these people that are lost. They are morally lost. They are without guidance. And where I want to go, where I'm trying to go, in essence, we have this group of y'all sitting on this floor. We say that we have the concept New Africa, saying that we bring about something new. A concept new. It is an idea. I think, therefore I am. When I'm saying let's manifest that idea. It is time to manifest that idea. And once Abraham believed, once he put his rational mind to work and submitted himself to God, what did he do? He built the Kaaba. He built a place for people to come to worship God. He moved out in faith. We need to move out in faith. Imam Amir Muhammed said that, look, get the money from your brother's vest pocket. Some of them we don't have. But we got relationships. Relationships. And one of the things I see with this community here, we have a relationship with the Ali Khan Center. They got a lot of little working brothers, old senior working brothers. We got to be wise. Let's build that we can do. Create something, man, that these people could come and have faith in God. We've been here, I'm going to try to share with that in our second portion. I want to really just talk about Ibrahim, but that's in essence where I really want to go. Because Allah, we all have things that we're crying out to Allah. You know, and the 4 birds are 4 seasons, nature, natural things. You keep balance. Then it comes in on Ali, Surah 3, Ali, Ibrahim. Say, all you people of the book, come to common terms as between us and you, that we worship none but Allah, that we associate no partners with Him, that we erect not from amongst ourselves lords and patrons, other than Allah. If then that they turn back, say ye bear witness that we at least are Muslims bound to that will. You people of the book, why dispute ye about Abraham, when the law and the Gospels were not revealed till after him? Have you no understanding? Ye are those who fell into disputing in matters of which ye have no knowledge. But why dispute ye in matters of which you have no knowledge? It is Allah who knows, and you know not. Abraham was not a Jew, nor a Christian. He was true in faith, and bowed his will to Allah, which is Islam, and he joined not gods with Allah. He was Hanif, upright. Without doubt, amongst him, the nearest of kin to Abraham was those who followed him, as are also this prophet, as is alluding to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and those who believe, and Allah is the protector of those who have faith. It is the wish of a section of the people of the book to lead you astray, but they shall lead astray not you, but themselves, and they do not perceive. O ye people of the book, why do you reject the signs of Allah, of which you are yourself witness? You people of the book, why do you clothe truth with falsehood and conceal truth while you have knowledge? But I'll come to go further into the ayat, and come to ayat 95 says, say Allah speaks the truth, follow the religion of Abraham, the saying of faith. He was not of the pagans. The first house of worship appointed for men was that at Becca. And Becca is in the Bible. You could go read it. It says Becca is in the Bible, full of blessings and of guidance for all kinds of beings. In it are signs manifest. For example, the station of Abraham. Whoever enters it attains security. Pilgrimage thereto is a duty men owe to Allah, those who can afford the journey. But if any deny faith, Allah stands not in the need of His creatures. Say, O people of the book, why reject ye the signs of Allah when Allah is Himself witness to all ye do? We can be the sign of Allah. We've been rejected. We don't have it but mind, power, and faith. We can create something, man. And we can leave a heritage for others and say that these are believers. And they showed us a sign of people practicing their belief, practicing their faith. You know, this world life, man, you know, they've always, their guys things that they can see. You know, and we could create something. And then have them come to worshiping Allah proper. And come in and say, ayat Surah 6, Al-Anam, ayat 74 is about 70 to 80. Well, Abraham said to his father, takest thou idols for God? For I see thee and thy people in manifest error. So also did we show Abraham the power and the laws of the heavens and the earth, and he might with understanding have certitude. You know, Allah has been giving us signs, knowing that the different seasons, different times, things have different changes, they have patience. He's given us this wisdom, man. We have the light of the Quran. Put it in practice, man. We can work this thing. I'm telling you, we just have faith and belief and put in the mind, let's do it. When the night covered him over, he saw a star. He said, this is my Lord. But it was set. He said, I love not those that set. You know, many things we thought this was it. But it's set. And then when he went on and saw the moon rising and splitting, he said, this is my Lord. But when the moon set, he said, unless my Lord guide me, I shall surely be amongst those who go astray. When he saw the sun rising and splendor, he said, this is my Lord. This is the greatest of them all. But when the sun set, he said, oh, people, I am indeed free from your guilt of your giving partners to Allah. So he was rationing out, reasoning out, looking at creation, studying creation, searching out for the right ideas, the right concept of God. Then we have that process within us. And then other human beings are looking for the same thing. Just don't know where to go, how to look. For me, I have set my face firmly and truly towards Him who created the heavens and the earth. Never shall I give partners to Allah. They say the Alpha and the Omega. Has no beginning nor no ending.
His people disputed with him. He said, "Can you dispute with me about Allah when he himself has guided me? I fear not the beings ye associate with Allah, unless my Lord willeth. None can happen. My Lord commandeth. And his knowledge of all things will ye not understand, be admonished." Ayah 83. That which was reasoning about us, which we gave to Abraham. Now Allah is reconfirming. He gave Abraham reasoning. That was the reasoning about which we gave to Abraham to use against his people. We raised him who will degree after degree, for thy Lord is full of wisdom and knowledge. We gave him Isaac and Jacob. All three we guided. And before him we guided Noah. Amongst his people, David, Solomon, Job, Joseph, Musa, Aaron, and those we rewarded, those who do good. And Zechariah, and John, and Jesus, and Elias, all in the ranks of the righteous. And Ishmael, Elias, Jonah, Lot, and to all we gave favor above nations. And those are the last four prophets, they were leaders of nations, as we alluded to. I'm coming to Surah 11 Hood. Well, it says, there came our messenger to Abraham, our messengers to Abraham, with glad tidings. They said, "Peace." He answered, "Peace," and hastened to entertain them with a roasted calf. But when he saw their hands went not towards the meat, he felt some mistrust of them and conceived their fear of them. They said, "Fear not. We have been sent against the people of Lut," and we know what those people represent. We see them. We're living in that time today. And his wife was standing there, and she laughed. But we gave her glad tidings of Isaac, and after him of Jacob. So these angels predicted, prophesied to them of their children that was to come. And she doubted. She said, alas for me, shall I bear a child? See, I am an old woman, and my husband here is an old man. That would indeed be a wonderful thing. They said, doest thou wonder at Allah's decree? The grace of Allah and his blessings on you, O ye people of the house. For he is indeed worthy of all praise, full of all glory. When fear had passed from Abraham's mind and the glad tidings had reached him, he began to plead with us for Lut's people. For Abraham was found out for bearing off a false compassion and given to look to Allah. Abraham, seek not this decree of the Lord has gone forth, for thy Lord, for there cometh a plenty that cannot be turned back. So the Lord is showing you also Abraham had a kind heart. He prayed for his family, he prayed for Luke's people. He had a kind heart. And then it comes back and now coming to Ayat Surah 14 of Ibrahim, the story of Ibrahim. Surah of Ibrahim, Ayat 30 to 35. And they set up idols as equal to Abraham to mislead man from the path, saying, enjoy your brief power, but verily you are making straight way to hell. Speak to my servants who have believed that they may establish regular prayers, spending charity out of the substance we have given them, secretly and openly, before the coming of the day in which there will be neither mutual bargaining nor befriending. You know, we encourage people to give in charity and to work whatever goodness that they got. And we gave them an idea and a plan that they could work this, and they could see themselves work within that plan. You know, things can be done. You know, and we don't put fear, don't put that dollar in front of them. We put Allah in front of them. And he had made subject to you the sun and the moon, both diligently pursuing their courses in the night and the day, have he also made subject to you. He has given you all that you asked for. But if you count the favors of Allah, never will you be able to number them. Verily man is given by up to injustice and ingratitude. And remember, Abraham said, oh my Lord, make this city a city of peace. And we could testify today with all the craziness that we see going on in that continent. Mecca is still a city of peace. Oh my Lord, they have indeed led many astray, many amongst mankind. He then who follows my ways is of me. He that disobeys me, be thou art indeed all forgiving, most merciful. Oh our Lord, I have made some of my offspring to dwell in the valley without cultivation, by the sacred house, in order, O our Lord, that they may establish regular prayer. So fill the hearts of some of men with love towards them, and feed them with fruit so that they may give thanks. O our Lord, truly thou doest know what we conceal and what we reveal. For nothing, whatever is hidden from Allah, whether on earth or in heaven. Praise be to Allah who granteth unto me in old age Ishmael and Isaac. For truly my Lord is my Lord is he, the hearer of prayer. I mean, oh Lord, make me one who establishes regular prayers, and also raise me amongst my offspring. Oh Lord, and accept thou my prayer. Oh Lord, cover us with thy forgiveness. Me, my parents, all believers on that day of reckoning will we be established. I'm going to bring this home a little bit closer to us. Oh Lord, they have indeed led astray many amongst mankind. We see our society has led many astray from mankind. He then who follows my way, Allah's way, is of him. And he that disobeys me, be thou art indeed all forgiving, most merciful. He will give mercy. Oh Lord, I have made some of my offspring to dwell in the valley without cultivation. We are in a valley as it relates to government and the lower people. We are in a valley, and the government is here, okay? And that sacred house. And he then who follows my way is of me, and he that disobeys, some of my offspring dwell in the valley without cultivation by that sacred house. That sacred house is the place of worship. That sacred house is within us. So, my Lord, that they may establish regular prayer and fulfill the hearts of some amongst men with love towards them, and feed them with fruit so that they may give thanks. There's people that love us for work that we have done. There's people that we have developed relationships with. But we have not fished those relationships in. We have not pulled them in. You know, Jesus said he was going to make us fishers of men. Elijah Muhammad said, go fish today. But we have not learned how to adapt and fish in our relationship to work in a vision that we want to develop. We have an idea in New Africa. What does that contain within your vision? When you make it big enough that it's inclusive, that everybody can come fit in. You know, this is our day. This is our time, man. Wallahi, we say we the children of Ibrahim. We believers of Ibrahim. You know, Allah blessed them, man, at old age. Ishmael and Isaac. The Quran reminds us, praise be to Allah who is granted unto me in old age Ishmael and Isaac, for truly my Lord is he, the hearer of prayer. He can grant us children that will work for your ideas, work for your concepts. If we make it big enough, we can do this. Up, ye mighty nations. Accomplish what you will. I believe that. Wallahi, you know, I was young when I came into the Nation of Islam and heard all those ideas, those concepts. So they took roots in me. And I tried to nurture them. I read those books. As a man thinketh, so is he. I think, therefore I am. I never really had no money. I used to chase money. Look, you can't catch it. I used to handle multi-million-dollar accounts. It wasn't my money, somebody else's money. I used to chase it, couldn't catch it. Gave up chasing it. And then tried to learn to attract it towards you. Bring it towards you. Attraction. We have to start to use our power, our mindset. You know, I was going to say this part for the second half, I think it's important. You know, my father was a mason, a shriner. Not a shriner, a mason. Can't say what degree. He might have been in first degree, second degree, third degree, I'm not sure. But he was a traveler. And he's in whatever degree he was, he knew enough that there was two types of travelers. And he asked me, what type was I as this traveler? You know, one of the travelers, he said, is a speculator. And then there's a builder. And he asked me, what one of I? And I took a second, I thought about it. I said, I'm a builder. I'm not a speculator. I'm not one to sit around and just talk, and speculate, stretch my head and spin. No, man, let's build, let's do. This is why we see the circumference and that G. And on that circumference of them, they believe in their builders, create. We say we're the Khalifas of the society, man. Let's Khalifa. Let's take charge. Really, these people, man, look, I saw, and I'm going to say this for the second half, man. Look, there's 10 buildings that they get ready to build down here, man. 10 buildings. 8 one company, 2 other companies. Where are we at? Where are we at? Muslims been here, man, on this side of town for 40-some years plus. And the community know it. The community know it. We have a right, and we are in a position to have ourselves at the table. But we have to have a plan, an idea. And then within that plan, we can create something that we're going to feed the community. And I'm saying feeding the community, create jobs, teach them technology, create ideas, man. We have to take sure we have to come together. This is our day, this is our time, man. Wallahi. Come on with that Ibrahim spirit believes. Tell them, the guest even said, you know, this is the guest, and angels will come. This is that story, that moral, that story. In the struggle, Allah sent angels. Then Allah come in the Surah of Al-Nal 16 to be. Ayat 120, Abraham was indeed a model, devotedly obedient to Allah, true in faith, and he joined not gods with Allah. He showed his gratitude for the favors of Allah, who chose him and guided him to a straight way. And he gave him good in this world, and he will be in the hereafter in the ranks of the righteous. So we have taught thee the inspired message. Follow the ways of Abraham, true in faith, and he joined not gods with Allah. Ayat 125, invite all to the way of thy Lord with wisdom and beautiful preaching, and argue with them in the ways that are best and most gracious. For our Lord knows best who has strayed from his way and who received guidance. That's having that compassion. We pray to Allah, don't Allah bless us with the grace to share with others. So we have to have a grace in our heart, compassion in our heart, but yet speak the truth to them. And Surah Maryam, Ayat 41 to 47, it said, Maryam is a blessed woman. And then we find within her the story of Ibrahim. Also mentioned in the book, the story of Ibrahim. He was a man of truth, a prophet. Behold, he said to his father, O my father, why worship that which you heareth not, seeth not, and can profit thee nothing? One of our arguments, man, we hear a lot of this about this racism and bigotry that we see, this rise of the white stuff, what do you want to call it? We addressed this 20, 30 years ago. We cared. We move all racial images of divine. And once again, we can talk to them in their book, in the language of the book, in a compassionate way. What it produces to the European, give them white superiority complex, and give the black or the colored people of color, an inferiority complex. So we line ourselves back up with each other's book. Follow your book. Let's remove this stuff. That will begin that process. We're not using the tools that Allah has given us. Oh my father, serve not Satan, for Satan is a rebel against Allah, most gracious. Oh my father, I fear least a penalty afflict thee from Allah, most gracious, so that thou become to Satan a friend. The father replied, doest thou have no God? Hate my gods, O Abraham? For if thou fearest not, forbear not, I will indeed stone thee. Now get away from me for a good long while. And Abraham had peace on thee. I will pray to my Lord for thy forgiveness. For he is to me most gracious. So Abraham took Hijrah. He took flight. He left them. But yeah, he also prayed for them. So in other words, we have to lead some people that we are close to. Allah will turn to them. Allah will work with them. And I will turn away from you, all from those whom ye invoke besides Allah. I will call on my Lord. Perhaps by my prayer to my Lord, I shall be not unblessed. When he had turned away from them and from those whom they worship besides Allah, he bestowed on him Isaac and Jacob. And each one of them we made a prophet. We bestowed of our mercy on them. We guided them, lawfully honored on the tongue of truth. Also mentioned in the book, the story of Ishmael. He was strictly true to what he promised. And he was a messenger and a prophet. And he used to enjoin on his people prayer and charity. And he was most acceptable in the sight of Allah. Allah speaks the truth. Only got a few more. This is Surah 21, Abiyah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, Ayah 51. And we bestowed aforetime on Ibrahim his rectitude of conduct. For me, that first time I ever heard that word rectitude was in prison system, terminology. Let's cut off this rectituism. But here this language is in the Quran of conduct, and so we know it's the recycle and the repeat. And we wrote aforetime on Abraham his rectitude of conduct, and well were we acquainted with him. Behold, he said to his father and his people, what are these images to which you are absolutely devoted? They said, we found our fathers worshiping this. Don't our people tell us this? Oh man, my parents did this thing. Man, I've been eating pork for all this blah, blah, blah. I've been doing blah, 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 blah. This is the language that they use. So Allah has given us a tool, a shield to at least protect us, let the light go over us. If we don't come straight at it. And they said, have you brought us the truth? Or are you one of those who jest? He said, nay, your Lord is the Lord of the heavens and the earth. He who created them from nothing. I am a witness to this truth. And by Allah, I have a plan for your idols after you go and you turn your back. So he broke them to pieces. But the biggest of them, that he left the biggest of them that they may dress themselves to it. Now he's using his rational mind, trying to get them to reason. They said, who has done this to my God? He must indeed be some man of impiety. This is how they feel about Jesus. You go after Jesus now, oh my God. They said, we heard a youth talk about that, and he called himself Abraham. They said, then bring him before the eyes of the people that they may bear witness. They said, are thou the one that did this to our gods, O Abraham? He said, nah, this was done by this is the biggest one. Ask them if they can speak intelligently. So they turned in themselves and said, oh, surely we're those in the wrong. Then were they confronted with shame. They said, oh, thou knowest full well that these idols don't speak. Abraham said, then do you worship these idols, things that cannot even do any good to you? No, do you no harm? Fine upon you, man. Upon those things that you worship besides Allah, have you no sense? They said, burn that dude and protect your gods if you know anything at all. We said, oh, fire, be cool. And by the means of safety for Abraham. Then they saw their strategy against him, but we made them the ones that lost the most. We delivered unto him his nephew, Lut, and directed them to the land that which they would be blessed for the nation. Allah speaks the truth. So we see these examples how to persevere, how to stay, with Allah, and in the examples of the guidance within Abraham. Then we come in the Surah of Hajj, which he also is a symbol and representative within. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. We gave the sight to Abraham to the sacred house, saying, associate not anything in worship with me, and sanctify my house for those who come past it, or stand up, or bow, or prostrate thyself in prayer. Proclaim the pilgrimage amongst men. They will come to thee on foot and mounted, and on every kind of camel, lean on account of journeys through deep and distant mountain highways, that they may witness the benefits provided for them to celebrate the name of Allah through the days appointed over the cattle, which we have provided for them for sacrifice, that they eat therefore and feed and distress one and one, and let them complete the rites prescribed for them, perform their vows against circumambulate the ancient house, circulate the ancient house to worship God. And when I was reading this, what I saw was a building with businesses down, another offices, other business on the second floor, and the masjid on top. People coming to eat Muslim bean soup, get the Muslim bean pot, get the Muslim business, construction, housing. Come on, we can do this. This is our day. This is our time. Surah Surah, taking Surah, Ayat 69, and rehearse to them something of Abraham's story. Behold, he said to his father and his people, what? Worship ye? They said, we worship idols and we remain constantly in attendance to them. He said, do they listen to you when you call on them? Or do they do you good or harm? They said, nay, but we found our fathers doing this. What we do, we watch TV, we lay back, we listen to music. We got to come out our cave of comfortability and get busy. He said, do then, see who you've been worshiping, you and your fathers before you. For they are enemies to me, not so the Lord and cherisher of the world, who created me. And it is he who guides me, who gives me food and drink. And when I am ill, it is him who cures me. Who will cause me to die, and he will get and then to life again? And who I hope will forgive me my faults on the day of judgment. That is Allah, not nothing that we create. Oh, my Lord, bestow wisdom on me and join me with the righteous. Grant me an honorable mention on the tongue of truth amongst the latest generation. And make me one of the inheritors of the gardens of bliss. Don't y'all want to be in that number? Come on, man, we can do this thing. Each one of us know 5 people. When those 5 know somebody got something that makes something happen. We have an idea, concept. Just come up with the idea. You got the story. New Africa. Let's build. Let's create. Forgive my father for that he is amongst those astray. Let not Let me not be in distance of the day when man will be raised up. They wherein neither wealth nor sons will avail. But only he will prosper that brings to Allah a sound heart, good heart. Let's bring a good heart to this thing. Let's be upright. To the righteous, the God who we brought near, things we brought near to us. If you what and once again, what are you? A builder or speculator? If you're a builder, let's build. Build your heart right and let's build. To the righteous, to the God who be brought near, and to those straying in evil, the fire will be placed in full view. And it is said to be, and it shall be said to them, with all the gods you worship, besides Allah, can they help him, help you, or help themselves? Then they will be thrown headlong into the fire. Then those in evil, and the whole host of Iblis together. Allah speaks the truth. You know, we know Iblis is that spirit that comes and say, I'm better than him. I ain't coming in the hood. Y'all brothers like the hood. Y'all brothers deal with the hood. There's people that ain't gonna come in the hood, man. Let's create something in the hood, man. Allah will guide us. And then this is Ayah al-Habakkuk, Surah 29. Ayat 16 to 18. And we said also Abraham, behold, he said to his people, serve Allah and fear him that you be best for you, if you understand, for ye do worship our idols besides Allah, and you invent falsehood. The things that you worship besides Allah have no power to give you substance. Then seek ye substance from Allah, serve him, and be grateful to him. To him will be your return. And if you reject the message, so did generations before you. So the duty to the messenger is only to preach the message, and clearly. See not how Allah originate creation and repeats it. Truly that is easy for Allah. Travel throughout the earth and see what goes before you. So not Ayah 24 to 27. So naught was the answer to Abraham's people except that they said, slay him or burn him. But Allah did save them from the fire. Really, and this is signs for people who believe. So if they reject us, man, don't worry about it. Stay on your mission, stay on the course. Allah got this. And he said, for you taken for worship idols besides Allah, out of mutual love and regard between yourself in this life, but on the day of judgment, ye shall disown each other and curse each other, and your abode will be the fire, and ye shall have none to help. Allah speaks the truth. And we gave Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and ordained for his prophecy, prophethood, and a revelation, and we granted him his reward in this life, and he is in the hereafter of the company of the righteous. And Allah speaks the truth. We see that. And then stories of Jacob, Isaac, and Joseph. This is Surah Al-Safat, 37. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Verily amongst those, Ayat 83. Verily amongst those who followed his way was Abraham. Behold, he approached his Lord with a sound heart. Behold, he said to his father and to his people, what is it that which ye worship? It is a falsehood. Gods other than Allah that ye desire. Then what is your idea about the lords of the worlds? Then did we cast a glance at the stars, and he said, I am indeed sick at heart. So I turned away from him and departed. Then did he turn to gods and said, will not he eat the offerings before you? What does matter with you that you speak not intelligently? Then did he turn upon them, striking them with the right hand. Then came the worshippers with hurried steps and faced him. He said, worship ye that which ye yourself carved? Allah has indeed created your handiwork. They said, build him a furnace and throw him into the blazing fire. This fell and they sought a strategy against him, but we made them the ones that most humiliated. He said, I will go to my Lord. He will surely guide me. Oh, my Lord, grant me a righteous son. So he gave him the good news of a good, ready boy, a boy ready to suffer for beer. Then we said to the son, when the son reached the age of serious work with his father, he said, oh, my father, oh, my son, I see in a vision that I offer thee in sacrifice. Now I see what is thy view. The son said, oh, my father, do as thou art commanded. Thou will find me if Allah so will, ones practicing patience and consistency. So when they both submitted their wills to Allah, and he had laid him down, prostrated on his forehead for sacrifice, we called out to Abraham, oh Abraham, thou hast already fulfilled thy vision. Thus indeed do we reward those who do right. For this was obviously a trial, and we ransomed him with a momentous sacrifice. And we left this blessing for him amongst generations to come later in later times. Peace and salvation to Abraham. Thus indeed do we reward those who do right. For he was one of our believing servants. We gave him the good news of Isaac, a prophet, one of the righteous. We bless him with Isaac. But of their prodigy are some that do right and some that obviously do wrong, to the loss of their own souls. Allah speaks the truth. Amen. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. Let our entry be by the gate of truth and honor, likewise our exit be by the gate of truth and honor. Please, Lord, expand our breasts, expand our heart, stimulate us, inspire us, to motivate us, to follow the best of guidance that you guide us with, to be more obedient to your words, and to follow the inspiration you have given us. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I was looking through a couple of the hadiths. I guess I went through 40 of them. Hadith quotes and then the 40 hadiths. I was trying to find the hadith that talks about the mirage of the night journey, and about Ibrahim being the leader. Once Prophet Muhammad got to the 6th level, it was Ibrahim that he sought guidance and told him to go back. He talked to Musa, to talk to them, and they asked Musa. And Musa went and told Prophet Muhammad, go back and ask Allah to make the prayers a little lighter for us. I didn't find that. But in going through that, I found some hadiths that I thought that may be inspiring and motivating. But in essence, in the story that I was telling you, this came through the Hajj season. And the Hajj season is the story about Ibrahim. May Allah be pleased with him. And we know the story of Ishmael. We see the story of Hagar, or Hajar, with India, going between Salah and Marwa, these two mountains, looking for water, looking for wealth, looking to maintain that child of a baby. And these are principles within the human being. We go back and forth, looking for that guidance, looking for that way, those talents and those things that God has given us in order to make a living. I don't know what I want to do with myself. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do it, but God has given us all natural talents, so we go back and forth and search for that. And this is one of the principles that it represents. Another thing that came to my mind, alhamdulillah, Allah blessed it to come back, so I'll share it with you. I'm an old dude, man, so I like cowboys, And I was watching this cowboy picture. Cisco Kid, Cisco Kid was a friend of mine, Pancho and Cisco. We all have a Pancho and Cisco in our lives. I was reflecting upon it, man. I've been Cisco in some relationships, and I had Panchos with me. People that followed what I thought my ideas. And then I've been Panchos and had Cisco's lead me. And so I see that this principle must be within us all. Another thing that I seen that in prayer is important, man. I'm not sure how many of y'all, I was talking with somebody, I thought about sharing this, but then I said something to somebody, he amen it. So I just validate that this got to be true. Prayer lines us up. We do Tai Chi, we do yoga, we do a lot of stuff, But prayer will line you up. You ever be in Salat, man? You don't know if you made 2 rak'ahs, you don't remember this, you don't remember that. Wow, I got to line back up, I got to slow down, something's up. Prayer will line you up. Because when you're off, you're off. Nobody knows, but your Lord, So prayer is also alignment, to realign us, and that is real within us, And I say this, man, brothers and sisters, man, because I'm telling you, man, these people, they got 10 buildings, man, coming up, mixed use, office, commercial, there's a component they got to do something with the community. There's things they got to, another thing they got to give the community a little bit lower, But then there's opportunities, man. Sometimes it used to be, this was like an L, man. We was here, and then you had them over at the Out Good Hope. They know we've been here, man. Get your ideas together, sit down, man. We ain't got a big army, man, but we got an army. We got Masjid Ali Khan, them brothers work. Like I get the food in the street, they got some brothers over there that work. So we get some ideas, we can work. We got to think. It's our day. We don't have the energy to work. Well, Abraham was blessed with children at old age, right? Many of us that we are old. The Bible sent some help. Ya Allah, call some help. Then Musa, after he gave a little bit of charity, he helped that sisters and them, you know, when they wanted to feed, water the sheep, the lamb, whatever it was. Then he sat back. Ya Allah, help, man. I need some help. Then he sent the women back. Yo, man, my father will hire you, man. You want to get, you know, marry one of us. And then, Allah's out. You know, another story about Ibrahim that we don't really realize. Ibrahim had 3 wives. Sarah, who had Isaac. She had Hagar, who had Ishmael. Excuse me. Then he married amongst the Madians. Some say Jethro. The people that Musa went to, that prophet, the guy, their father, they said that was Prophet Jethro. Okay. He married amongst them, and they were the children of Qatar and Ibrahim. Ibrahim's 3rd wife was an African, a Cushionite, Hamitic, black, whatever you want to call it, African, black, whatever you want people to call it. She was Hamitic. They had 12 children. Amongst one of those children who Musa married. If you look in the Bible, look at the story, they question Musa, man, why you married that black woman? And they didn't say it like that, but that was what they were saying in essence. So you read the story. So Ibrahim is the father of many Africans. And the Hagarites. And Ishmael had 12 tribes. And you see them throughout, as well as Isaac. There's a few more hadiths when we're out, inshallah. You know, but I say this, brother, man, because, you know, I believe, man. I believe. I'm sorry, I came to that Elijah Muhammad, that Nation of Islam door, and there was people that worked. There were people that believed. You know, now I'm getting older, you know. But I still get some energy. I get some spurts of energy. But I know that spurts don't last for so long, so I got to be wise and get some youth. They don't have the longevity. They're going to do it on a spurt. Boom, bam. Then they're gone. So you're going to need a few more. Boom, bam. But we could do this. And then we could get other believers that will come running. Dad, the Muslim did that in the hood. Come on, man. And then y'all had that concept, New Africa. High season, man. Should never ask me to come up here, man. I can't talk anymore. I can't, you know, I'm not a speculator. You know, as a Mason, I'm a builder. Try to build. You know? Bismillah, and I'm not going to go into the quotes of the hadith, or the base of it, but there are the 40 hadiths. Each person, every joint must perform a charity every day the sun comes up. To act justly between 2 people is a charity. To help a man with his mount, lifting him out onto it, or hosting up his belongings onto it is a charity. A good word is charity. Every step you take to prayers is a charity. And removing a harmful thing from the road is a charity. Righteousness is good. Morality and wrongdoing is that which wavers within your soul and which you dislike people finding out. I came to the messenger of Allah, may Allah be pleased with him, and he said, you have come to ask about righteousness. I said, yes. He said, consult your heart. Righteousness is that about which is in your soul, that feels tranquility, and your heart feels tranquility, and wrongdoing is that which wavers within the soul and moves to and fro in the breast, even though people again and again have given you their legal opinion. It is in its favor. So that is what you know what is right, what goes on within your own soul, and that makes you waver within. This is the last one. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Allah, the Almighty, has laid down righteous duties. Do not neglect them. He has set boundaries, so do not overstep them. He has prohibited some things, so do not violate them. About some things he was silent out of compassion for you, not for forgetfulness, so seek not after them. Allah speaks the truth. May Allah increase our heart, increase our faith, increase our inspiration, increase our belief in what He's given us as human beings, individually, collectively. Give us the power, Lord. to have faith and trust in your word. Guide us to what is best. Guide us to do what is right. Forgive us, our Lord. Let our entry be by the gate of truth and honor. Likewise, our exit be by the gate of truth and honor. Grant us good in this world's life, good in the next. And defend us against the torment of the fire. Oh Lord, we seek refuge in you from anxiety and grief, from lack of strength and laziness, from cowardice and godliness, from being overpowered by debt and the oppression of men. Oh Lord, suffice to us what is lawful, to keep us away from what is prohibited from with thy grace, and make us free from what is besides thee. Guide us that the best of our hearts can come out and reflect. Oh Lord, forgive us and guide us, bless us good in this world's life, good in the next, and defend us against the torment of the fire. Amen. Come to the Lord.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Hayya ala salah, hayya ala falah, qad qamat as-salah, qad qamat as-salah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah.
Muhammad Rasulullah. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim. Ghayril maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. Ameen. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Inna a'inaka al-kawthar. Fasalli li rabbika wanhar. Inna shani'aka huwa al-abtar. Allahu Akbar. Sami Allahu hamidah. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim. Ghayril maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. Ameen. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Qul huwallahu ahad. Allahu as-samad. Lam yalid wa lam yulad wa lam yakul kufuwan ahad. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Qul rabbil falaq min sharri ma khalaq wa min sharri ghasiqin idha waqab wa min sharri nafathati fil 'uqad wa min sharri hasadin idha hasad. Allahu Akbar. Sami Allahu hamidah. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar.
Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Takbir!
Allahu Akbar.
Takbir!
Allahu Akbar.
Takbir!
Allahu Akbar.
Akbar.
For those that we haven't seen, Eid Mubarak. Eid Mubarak.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin.